Are you going to watch this week?
Yeah.
You will?
Yeah.
Because you won?
Yeah.
Wonderful. All right, fantasy footballers, let's get ready for another fantasy football recap. Fumble. Tick, 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 tick. We start our recap at Frat Row, where Kamala has code switched her way into the college culture by popping in a few Zins. The Zins looked vulnerable this week, being carried by a strong performance of Justin Thomas Jefferson, who declared independence from his defenders, saying Monticello and goodbye to them, cruising into the end zone. The white men for Kamala had a chance, but there was a betrayal from within, as Carson stopped the steal showed his true colors as a psyop for the alt-right. And they should have judged a book by its cover, with Daniel Jones's trust fund-looking face dropping a dud too. Tough days are ahead for white men for Kamala. Zins 101, white men for Kamala 82. Whoop! Fumble! He's matriculating the ball down the field. We return to Franklin Field, where the Blue Hawks battled the turnovers. A believer in second chances, Jen trotted out Groper Cleveland at quarterback for a second week in a row. This time was no different, however, despite a stellar Mike Jackson Evans performance, telling his defenders to beat it as he scampered into the end zone. It was all in vain. Kenneth Moonwalker III made Jen's team look bad. A Shimon! Picking up an insane 33 points on Monday night. Maybe Jen should start with the woman in the mirror, because it seems like a team of Billie Jeans could beat it! That's all the jokes I could make about Mike Jackson in one recap video. Hee hee! Turnovers 122. Blue Hawks 117. Fumble! We journeyed to the depths of the ocean, where the dihydrogen monoxide squared off against the Jersey Chasers. Cortland Mutton Chop used his legs for some yak, having a meaty 15-point performance. Jamar Hamlin Chase dropped defenders dead as he wowed fans, racking up a 17-point performance. But this was all for naught, as the mighty Slow Burrow showed out, wanting points and special needing touchdowns. It was a sweet sensation. And, as a touching tribute to donuts, Pat Fryermuth turned defenders crispy for that cream, scorching by his opponents to the tune of 16.7 points. Judge Jerry Jeudy, the player, not to be confused with the disaster that is Burrows' team, found the Jersey Chasers guilty of stinking. Monoxide's 137, Chasers 120. What? We go to the heaping, stinking pile of garbage that was the matchup between two cornerstones of the league, as the Navy SEALs did battle against the Fighting Carps. This matchup was a bloodbath, folks, with guys on both sides guys on the sides getting injured during the game. The one shining spot, though, was Amon-Ra St. Brown getting 20 plus. In a cruel twist of fate, however, Dan's quarterback injured Dan's star wide receiver in a freak accident that has Dan's team looking like an Ethiopian kid's diet. No rice. Here's another one. Pat Mahomes, 13 points. Jordan Mason, 24 points. Checking Dan's lineup for the coming weeks. Riceless. As a silver lining, at least Rashee Rice went out doing what he loved, ending a drive with a horrible collision and immediately leaving the scene. Carps 90, Seal 65. Some spread. Bumbo! We head to this week's Game of the Week, where Lamar U Serious duked it out against all good in the neighborhood. The matchup was magic from the jump, as on Thursday night, Now You CD, Now You Don't Lamb had a 23 magical point night. Brian and Garfunkel Robinson wrote up a 20-point performance, singing a little ditty along the way, saying, "And here's to you, Wandale Robinson. Jesus loves you more than you will know. Whoa, whoa, whoa." As the Giants wide receiver had 18 points in the flex spot. Things were all good in Malik's neighborhood, as the titular character had himself 23 points as well. But it was Jaden Regers who had the last laugh, saying, "Bye there, neighbors," as he had a monstrous 27-point day. The question seems rhetorical now, but once again I must ask, Lamar, you serious? Reagan's squad is deathly serious. They have 100 more points than the next closest squad, scoring 591 points in 4 weeks. The serious 160. The neighborhood 122. A reading from the Book of Football. Now 2 coaches came to the wise GM Solomon and stood before him. One of them said, "Pardon me, boss. This coach and I coached the same position, and we both had play ideas. During the night, this coach's playbook died because the Wildcat is bad and outdated." The other coach said, "No, The good playbook is my idea. The Wildcat one is yours. But the first one insisted, saying, No, the Wildcat is yours. The good one is mine. And so they argued before the GM. Then the GM said, Bring me a paper shredder. So they brought the contraption for the GM. He then gave them an order saying, Cut the playbook in two and give half to one and half to the other. The coach whose playbook was good was deeply moved out of love and said to the GM, Please, bro, that's my ticket to a head coaching job. Just give the other guy the plays. Don't shred it. But the other said, Bro, we are going to be Panthers assistant coaches forever. Cut it in two. Then the GM gave his ruling. Give the playbook to the first coach, and do not shred it. He is the author of these plays. When all the league heard the verdict the GM had given, they held the executive in awe, because they saw that he had the wisdom from football to properly run an organization. The Chosen 121, Judge Jeudy 88. Some spread.
All right, fantasy footballers, another week is in the book. I think some pretenders are emerging and some contenders are emerging as well. White men for Kamala, I'm somehow not alone at the bottom. I still think the lower quartile of the league is looking pretty weak. And there's a pretty big gap between the top and the bottom this year. So, we'll see how things shake out. We'll see who wins the cookie cake. Good luck next week in week 5, everybody. Whoop!